This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And make sure to order Jamie Glazov's new critically acclaimed jihadist Psychopath. How he is charming, seducing, and devouring us. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Jamie Glazov Moment. Tonight, Nancy Pelosi exposes and kills the fat-shaming movement. My friends, I think you probably know by now, many of you know by now, that recently on CNN, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was very concerned about Donald Trump taking hydroxychloroquine because he is morbidly obese, according to Nancy, so he shouldn't be taking it. I really don't know where to start on this. I've been thinking about this ever since it happened, and just wanted to talk about it tonight. I have a million things to say. I'm going to try to just say a few of them. Nancy, first of all, and if you're watching by any chance, hydroxychloroquine, this idiocy on the left about that, I'm going to have to leave that for another time, but I'll just say that the left is probably going to stop. Leftists are probably going to stop eating soon if Donald Trump is eating. Leftists are probably going to stop taking zinc if Donald Trump is taking zinc. Leftists are going to stop breathing if Donald Trump is breathing. This Trump derangement syndrome is now spiraling out of our planet. It's out into some kind of morbid, very sick, deranged twilight zone. Another whole show that we'll have to do. I got to try to focus on this obesity thing and what it means for now. Nancy Pelosi, learn the meaning of obesity. Donald Trump is not obese, let alone morbidly obese. Just check your eyesight, read up on it, do some studying on it. I'll give you some clues and hints right now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, usually I wouldn't even go here, but because stones are being thrown by people in glass houses, we have to discuss this a little bit. If it comes to somebody like Rosie O'Donnell, Michael Moore, Stacey Abrams, Gerald Nadler, before he had his surgery to reduce the size of his stomach, then we're talking about maybe something connected to the word obesity or morbidly obese. Just wanted to say that, okay, to start with. Now, but of course, as I want to discuss in a second, it's horrible if I say this about who I just talked about. See, that's not allowed. If a conservative male says this about leftist people, especially, let's say, leftist females, he's being very bad and he's fat shaming. But if Nancy Pelosi says it about Donald Trump, then it's okay. So I guess it means that this whole issue really isn't about fat shaming, is it? It's about something else. Before I get to that, I just wanted to add something else about Nancy Pelosi. Just in case you're watching, Nancy, why are you bringing up physical appearance of other people in a judgmental, negative way? Again, I usually wouldn't go here. But since stones are being thrown, Nancy, have you looked in the mirror lately? You should not be bringing up physical appearances in a negative way of other people. Nancy, in terms of plastic surgery, something went left. Something went left in your life. Keep a low profile when it comes to these themes and subjects, please. Now, again, I usually don't want to get into things like this, but stones are being thrown, and I just thought I would bring it up. Furthermore, in terms of the left, I can't help from wondering, Nancy Pelosi just fat-shamed Donald Trump, and he's not even fat. But I can't help from wondering, where is the fat-shaming movement? The fat-shaming movement is so much against fat-shaming. They're so concerned about people that are overweight, that are being judged for them being overweight or for them being quote-unquote fat or being labeled as that. And that shouldn't be done. We shouldn't fat-shame people ever. Oh, wait a minute. In case it's Donald Trump. in case it's a conservative male somewhere, especially if it's a conservative white male. That's okay. But if Donald Trump said this about Stacey Abrams and said that she was morbidly obese, wow, I wonder what would happen. Hashtag campaign on Twitter, hashtag campaign would be just trending. An international criminal court would be set up to try Trump. An FBI investigation would start. Don Lemon would be sobbing on CNN for Stacey Abrams and how mean Donald Trump was to her. And Anderson Cooper would probably cry a little bit too, and so would Chris Cuomo, and Rachel Maddow would just have a 7-part series on Donald Trump's fat shaming. But if Donald Trump is fat shamed by Nancy Pelosi, not a word, not a sound, and the fat shaming movement doesn't say a word. I wonder if this is about something else. I wonder if it's like the Me Too movement being about something else rather than what it says it's about. I think this is really all about a weapon in the hands of the left. There's a weapon, and the left uses a weapon against certain people. Republicans, conservatives, heterosexual white men. But then if it doesn't suit their agenda to destroy this society and to destroy capitalism and to destroy the West, then they don't really care. So we see what's going on here. And I wanted to bring that up because something is very, very wrong with the silence of the fat shaming movement and the silence of the left in general over this whole issue. And I wanted to dig a little bit deeper here on this issue in terms of what does this really all mean? I was thinking back to my own days in graduate studies. I was in academia for a very long time, and you can just imagine who I was surrounded by. But I remember being around radical leftists, especially radical leftist feminists. So just wanted to say this quickly here because this is all connected. If I said something that I found appealing about a woman's body, if I found her beautiful or sexy or said something about it in a positive way, that would be very wrong. These radical feminists I was around in academia would say that I'm being sexist and chauvinist and I'm objectifying women, and you should never say anything about a woman's body, positive or negative. I mean, if you're saying something negative, then you just belong in prison. But even if you're saying something positive, you shouldn't be saying it at all. You should not see, when it comes to a female, the heterosexual male should not be able to see and to judge beauty or non-beauty. You just shouldn't be allowed and shouldn't do that. But then if a lesbian sees something positive or negative in another woman and verbalizes it, that's okay. That's completely okay. Just heterosexual males should not be doing that. But it's okay if lesbians do it. I used to hear long lectures from them about how when you did say something about a woman's body, and you dared to, even in a positive way, you were lectured not to do that because you should only care about what's inside. But then, and so in other words, they would reach the conclusion in that context that you should never judge anybody by their looks. But then, if a homosexual male was verbalizing what he thought was attractive or unattractive in a male, these radical feminists had no problem with that and would never complain about that. It's very interesting. So it's okay for homosexual males to judge physique, positive or negative. It's okay for lesbians to judge physique, positive or negative. But for heterosexual males, it's not okay to even see women's bodies. Now, I'll just say I've really surrendered. I'm being very good now for the radical feminists. Like, if Rihanna or Beyonce or J-Lo came in here right now with no clothes on, I wouldn't even notice a thing. I would just be thinking about their careers and just asking them about their career choices and future plans, really. I'm being a good soy boy and simp for the radical feminists. Oh, yes, I am. My friends, I cannot even disguise my disdain for these people. And I'll just add that in terms of these feminists, these leftist feminists that I'm describing, when they would finish their lectures to the males, to the heterosexual males, about how they shouldn't judge women by their physiques and shouldn't see beauty or non-beauty, a half an hour later, they're all sitting around and you can hear that they're saying the meanest, nastiest, the most cruel things about men. They're calling certain men old in a very negative way, ageism. They're making fun of men's bellies. They're making fun of men's bald spots. They're making fun of men's private parts. I used to hear the most vicious things coming from them about males, but I guess that's okay. I just wanted to mention that tonight, my friends, because this is very much on my mind, because I've observed this my whole life. And when Nancy just did this about body shaming, or in terms of how she body shamed, it all came to my mind about the context that I had brought up, about all this hypocrisy, about all of these double standards. I also just wanted to say, just while I'm on it, in terms of the fat shaming issue, which really isn't about fat shaming, but even if it was, also the madness that's inherent in that movement as well, if there even is any seriousness there. Because on the one hand, yes, of course, as humans, we should not be cruel to others and be cruelly judgmental of others. We got all that. But to start denying that there's something bad about too much fat, to deny that fat clogging the pancreas and causing insulin resistance and diabetes, to try to negate all of that is hazardous, and it's insane, and it's destructive. That's another whole show. So where am I ending with tonight, my friends? In this episode of Nancy Pelosi labeling Trump as morbidly obese, in so many ways, again, we see the sickness and pathology of the left. It's a pathology that reflects the overall hatred in the agenda of these movements, like the fat shaming movement, like the Me Too movement, which is supposed to be about defending women and standing up for women and protecting women that have been sexually harassed, assaulted, abused. But we see that that's not what the Me Too movement is really about, right? Because if it's Tara Reade and the perpetrator is a Democrat, well, then you're not supposed to believe all survivors now, are we? So this is really all about something else. And what it really is about, my friends, is that the left has a weapon. They have many weapons. And it uses all of these things: women's rights, gay rights, fat shaming, Me Too, all of these things that the left exploits as a weapon to beat Western civilization, to try to destroy the Judeo-Christian tradition, to demonize and dehumanize men, heterosexual white men, conservative people, and even conservative people of color. And then if it doesn't suit their agenda, they don't say a word. Ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye out for the hypocrisy, the destructiveness, and the hatred that's in the heart of the left and in all of its hypocritical and pathological movements that try to deceive you. We'll see you again soon on the Jamie Glazov Moment. Good night.